countdown here.
Okay. There's no getting it. We're live.
live.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see you. How are y'all doing? I have a wonderful Annie with me. Yay.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're
I'm in a
welcome.
back. I'm a little too close there. There.
No.
You don't have to look up my nose.
You're gorgeous. We're good. This is how much time I had to do my hair every day this past weekend.
You've been so busy though. I like ponytails. You've been getting stuff done.
Well, yes. And yeah. I had to get out of the door this morning before 9 o'clock because I had appointments. So,
Yeah. And you have a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing a lot of shows.
It's
awesome.
I love it. I love it. I love being a guest. Yeah. And I haven't gone live very much. I know that, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to stay organized while I do these things.
Well, it doesn't help that there's time zones too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Madame Maru. How are ya? Sherry. Baby.
I don't see
everybody.
I don't see the chat, but I'm just waving at everyone.
There you go. Or you can follow along on your phone. Just make sure the volume is down. Flip the switch off. That's what I usually do. Oh. But because I'm the host, I can do this.
Nice.
That's working out.
That's nice.
So we all know that trees are magical and mystical. And Annie's choices to speak of today are the cedar and the madrone. How do you say it? You say it differently.
Madrone.
Yeah. Okay. And I have to tell everybody, it's a tree I've always admired, but I know nothing about. Now, cedars, they're all over here in Michigan. I only know this madrone in paintings because I've never been able to identify it. And the few times I may have seen it up close and personal, I had no idea what it was called.
Yeah.
So, Annie, why don't you start our conversation talking about the madrone?
The madrone tree. I would love to. I'm pulling up on my phone very quickly here.
You got a picture?
I do. Here's one that, what happened? It disappeared.
You touched something.
I touched something. Oh, I'm looking at myself. That's going to freak me out. What's so beautiful about madrone trees, and I didn't learn, thank you, dear. Thank you. What's so remarkable about the madrone tree is when you see one, it looks as if it's glowing, especially when it's in sunlight. It looks like it's glowing. And it has an inner bark that first is green and then light tan. And then it goes through all these beautiful shades of golden brown and reddish brown. And then the bark on the outer part of it, some of it will be gray, some of it will be red, and it peels away. And I've always thought it was the inner beauty, that I wanted to be like the madrone tree as I got older, to let my inner beauty come out and let the outside stuff fall away. Yeah. And be my real self, be my inner self, be silly, be wrong sometimes, not be afraid of that. And I love doing research for shows like this one, because you see, I've always loved madrone trees, and when I see them, I always touch them, and tell them I love you. You're so beautiful. And they grow on cliffs, and they grow in these spaces where their roots they twist towards the light, and so they look literally like beautifully crafted art, nature's art. That's like she was turned by the wind, and the sun, and they're always so graceful.
They twist, right? They twist.
Yes.
On their own.
They twist, and they're often on cliffs. So you'll often be like on a beach looking at a huge madrone, a good quarter to half mile up. and it will just look like it's precariously hanging there. But you'll see some of the roots, because the roots have this special property of having fungi grow in them. And so they're like an interspecies tree, because they encourage other species to grow with them. They form communities. They host their host plants. They feed mammals, they feed birds, they feed bears and deer. They have leaves that are browse for deer, and berries. And many mammals and birds love the berries. I actually did research, and I should probably look at so I can tell you exactly whom. It's one thing, we don't burn madrona wood, the tribes here. We don't burn madrona wood. It is a sacred tree. And this I learned while doing research, because I actually didn't know if madrona tree was indigenous or not. So while preparing for this today, I found out that it's actually, we have stories about the Great Flood and how the madrona tree's roots saved the canoes and saved the peoples. And so the relationship is a very old one, and we call her the tree of knowledge. She has depth, she has integrity. She's an evergreen tree. She's the bark, leaves, and berries are brewed as teas to treat colds and tummy issues and skin issues. It's fire resistant. It's also a nurse tree that quickly resprouts from its roots when it needs to regenerate the forest. And it does this quickly. They do not like to be moved, so I kind of understand why I resonate with them. Once they're there, they don't want to be fussed with. And they are seen as a community healing tree because they're so adaptable and balanced and always reaching towards the light. And they cling to cliffs and are graceful and gravity flirting ways. They look gravity defying sometimes, and they're so elegant. Their inner beauty glows from within as their outer bark peels away, revealing the inner bark. In the stories, they are said to hold the earth together and to anchor.
So,
anchoring tree.
One question I had, I did some research too, but one of the questions I had is as a sacred tree, is it okay for you to go ahead and peel it off, or do you have to wait for it to drop off? And can it be used for the outer layer of canoes? Because I know that it's called the refrigerator tree because it keeps water in its bark, and so it stays cool in the summer. And because of that, I was wondering, well, this is a good flotation device, but I couldn't find any extra information on that. And
I only found, pardon?
No, go ahead.
I only know of, in the tribes that I am from, we use cedar. I have never heard of a madrona canoe. But I was like, to do, when I go and gather boughs, cedar boughs, for instance, when we speak of cedar, I find the ones that are on the ground, probably like you do. And the madrona tree, I always peel them because I'm a little kid and I can't resist it.
Okay. Well, because, right. I mean, here we do that with birch bark.
Yeah.
That's that around the canoes here. And I did find another, maybe this is the same legend or a different legend, but I had found about the Great Flood also, that they tied their canoes together. And as the water rose, they went up in the boughs, the toppest part of the tree. And those top limbs are what saved everybody from drowning during the Great Flood.
Isn't she remarkable? The madrona tree.
Yeah.
I always think of her as female. I don't know if others do. I just feel she feels female to me.
Right.
Yeah. And she's so nurturing to so many species.
Right.
Yeah, and it's beautiful and gets more beautiful as she ages.
So have you ever eaten the berries yourself? Because I read that you can just pull them off the tree and shove them in your mouth. They're delicious.
I have eaten them, but I don't remember eating a lot of them. Just some, just to experiment. Because the thing is, you could put it on your wrist. My dad always told me to eat a berry, and Ron would tell me the same thing. You can lick it, break it open, and lick it, and put it on your wrist, and put it on to see if it stings. to see
Okay.
if you feel any tingling, then don't eat it.
Yeah.
Or and watch your skin where you put it.
Yeah. Well,
And,
that makes sense. That's
and
great advice for all of us right now to this
it
day.
is. So don't eat it right away. Just see if your body says it's, and what's really cool is bears have what's called a Kilham organ on the top of their mouth, which there's a book by Benjamin Kilham that's absolutely, they named it after him actually. And he's the one that discovered that about bears, that they can put things in their mouth and that organ will tell them whether they can eat it or not. And when I helped at the wildlife hospital, we would get baby bears in and they would have to stay with us for until they were grown, for usually about a year, until they were taken fat and ready to be released. And then the special dogs who were trained would go and scare them so that they would stay away from people. So in a wildlife hospital, because I know you did rehab too. You want them to be wild. You do not want to domesticate them. You want them to be who they are and be wild and get healed and go be, where you were to be reunite with your family. But what's needed?
Those that we couldn't release, it's hard not to get a human impression on them because we had to show them in order to keep the license. Of course, I didn't work with large animals. I worked with raptors. Not that an eagle is
fantastic,
but it is, and they're blind. They can't be released, or their wings will never heal. They can't be released, or they're just so broken that that if you put them out in the wild, they don't know how to fend for themselves. They won't be able to. So because some of them, in order to have a lot, if you're working through the county, you can get a license that has I think you're able to have a dozen birds if you're a small facility through the county license. But if you're a hawker, a falconer, then you can have more. So because they can have, or maybe they can have 12 and the county can have 18. Regardless, you can have a bigger brood if you have a falconry license as well. But the thing is, you need volunteers to come and help you because that's a lot of birds to take care of. And you got to feed them live mice, and you got to feed them, chicks and stuff like that. And
frozen rats and frozen mice, and and put medicine in them, and
Well, they have to eat what they would eat in the wild, even if they're not going to be released. But if they get rehabbed, then we take them to what we call flight cages. Now, these cages have no outdoor visibility for them. Right? They're just long houses. I'd say they're probably 18 to 20 feet long and about 10 feet wide at the most. So that two birds, like if hawks spread their wings and they're flying against each other, they're going to go like this, but each one can have a 6-foot wingspan. Or owls, they will have a 6-foot wingspan. So they have to be able to dodge each other and not collide, right? So we throw live mice in there. Now the mice, of course, can get out, but those who survive by grabbing those mice, because you do witness some of it the minute you get in there and throw them in, right?
Well, where I helped, that was one of the last tests they go through was the live, and that was to know if they could survive in the wild and be released.
Yeah, we would keep them in there for a year before we would release, and then we would go to Pennsylvania to Hawk Mountain and on the big day.
Isn't that there's nothing like taking an owl or a raptor or any bird or any animal. I did so many releases, and it was the happiest time in my heart to take these and set them free, because you could give them anything, but what they will always want is to be free. But anyway, back to the tree. Let me keep talking about Madrone here. We were talking about the fungi, and this is the Madrone again. Whoops, let me see what page I'm on. Madrone provides food and nesting sites because they're susceptible to, they call it heart rot, which makes really good homes for the woodpeckers. And we have pileated woodpeckers here and hairy woodpeckers and downy woodpeckers, and we have flickers, the cousins that are still in that family.
Yeah.
And we have some sapsuckers, red-breasted sapsuckers. I've seen one in the wild
Congratulations.
around here, but anyway, the Madrone provides food and nesting sites for robins, pigeons, cedar waxwings, and I got to tell you about cedar waxwings. They are magnificent. In the baby bird nursery, where we take care of baby squirrels and birds, the cedar waxwings have iridescent throats. Inside their mouths, it's iridescent. They're just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. It's so fun to feed them berries because they're so beautiful.
Can I tell you my cedar wax?
Oh, yeah. Oh, please do.
My neighbor had a giant tree, and they knew that I had rescued birds, and they know that I have this parrot, right?
Yeah.
So this little tiny baby bird falls out of the tree. Can you save it? Can you save it? So it was a cedar waxwing, right? It was a baby waxwing. And I collect nests so that if I have to rescue something, I have a nest to put it in, right? So I would go out in the afternoon to feed this little thing, and the cedars, the whole family, would sit in the sycamore tree next door and just make up a ruckus. So I would go sit on the porch and let them watch me feed this bird.
Good.
And they would sit there and watch, and I would take it in and I would protect it through the night. And then I would go back out in the morning and feed it, go back out in the afternoon, and then go again in the evening. Well, finally, I knew this bird was going to survive. His pin feathers were coming out and starting to get some fluff. So I took the smallest nest I had, and I went over to my cedar tree, and I stuck him on a branch where he was noticeable in the dusk, but that no cat or anything was going to climb the tree to get to them.
Yeah.
Do you know that within an hour, they had dismantled the nest I had put him in and moved it deeper in the tree and rebuilt it and got him in that little nest deeper in the tree. It was so cool.
Yeah, back to his family.
And
that's the goal.
And they hung around and they hung around and they hung around. So it was great.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Right. And the birds that watch you do that, like the stellar jays around here, they watch everything. And like the black-capped chickadees, I think of them as like Boy Scouts. So if you put something new outside, they are the first ones to come and check it out and be talking about it.
Let me say hello to a couple of people here because I'm still not good with the chat, everybody. So Pamela, Julie, and let's see who else. Madame Maru, okay. Valerie, and then we got Bernadette and Sally. How you doing, darling?
Hey.
And I think I've got everybody up to speed. Pamela Anderson. Yes. Yeah, I think we're up to speed now.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This is so fun. Oh, so fun. Well, let me tell you some more. Some more birds are varied thrushes, California quail, dark-eyed juncos, stella jays, mourning doves, northern flickers. Do you guys have flickers?
Oh, I have flickers and I have yellow-eyed juncos. I love them.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you know about flickers will eat thousands of ants. That's their favorite treat. They love eating ants. And it's remarkable. And the tongues, in case people don't know, I find this all so fascinating. I'm a birder. But the flickers and the woodpeckers, their tongues actually go around their brain to protect them when they're banging on metal and digging out hollows in trees. And when they do their mating calls, people get so frustrated with them because they're loud as possible, but they're telling would-be mates that, hey, I have a great place and there's lots here and come be, let's raise a brood together. And it's only for a few weeks, and then they're off doing their thing. But it's exciting. Do you have that too?
Yes, but I didn't know that their tongues went around their brain while they're doing that. I did not know that.
I was so fascinated to learn that. A naturalist. And when I started helping there, I was reading everything I could get my hands on so I could learn more about the species. There's like these trees. I know we're probably not going to cover everything, but let me just share this about trees. Like a Douglas fir tree, for instance, that's not on our list today. But what is so magnificent is like a chickadee and the little juncos and the pileated woodpeckers and squirrels can all live and have a habitat on the same tree, because some of the little songbirds, they'll have nesting sites in there, of course, and they will travel the tree in this way. And the woodpeckers will travel the tree in this way. And they'll each hide their seeds in these little niches in the bark. And so that's how they can cohabitate on the same tree without
Very cool.
without discord, you know. And
Right.
we can learn as human beings. We need to learn from these examples that are all around us.
I just love that you use that word, discord. Cohabitation without discord. That is such an appropriate phrase for all of us. But I haven't heard that word except in the goddess of discord.
Oh.
So it was good to hear it.
Oh, there are that. Thank you. The Madrone tree is also, this surprised the whole heck out of me. I didn't know all this either. So the woodpeckers, the hairy, the downy, the sapsuckers, the chickadees, the chestnut-backed chickadees, the house wrens, which are delightful, and bears like the berries, and raccoons and squirrels, and they like the berries. And they also, I didn't know this, they're host to the butterfly caterpillars, the western blue elfin, and a silk moth. I did not know that. So that was really wonderful to learn. But why don't you talk about the cedar trees, and then I'll go after you while I kind of straighten out my notes here.
Right? Because we're great note takers, but keeping them in order is not.
It's hard to keep them in order. So tell me about your cedar, sweetheart.
Well, there are, which is something that's common here, common in all forests, right? But here in America, it's not a real true cedar, because the cedars actually have needles. And the cedars that we have here have more of a fan-like, lacy, fern-like canopy type, right? So the Mediterranean cedar is what we refer to as the one with needles. The American cedar is the one that has the more fern-like. And there are 4 species altogether that are the true cedar. That's the Lebanon cedar, which is, it's a brand of hummus. If you've ever wondered what that's about, that's what that's about. And then the Atlas cedar, which I had never heard of that one before.
I've never heard of that either.
Right. But the cypress, and then the deodar. I didn't go hunting on the differences between those 4. But the deodar, I've heard it mentioned before, but I don't really. What's the difference between these 4? Is it the height? Is it the way they branch out? Is it the way their roots go? Or is it just the area in which they grow? Right? Because like here, we have a lot of false cypress. And the American cedar tree actually comes from the Lebanon cypress. I mean, the cypress cedar tree. So our trees are an offshoot of the cypress. So the American variety comes from the cypress family, and it is indigenous here to this continent. And it is sacred for its smoke and for its purification. And our Micmac and Potawatomi and Ojibwa and all of them. Right now, my name is, everybody's names are going, but we use it like sage, and I use it like sage. It is the American sage and our Michigan sage. So the branches and the fern-like would be crisscrossed over each other, and it would be used to help remove debris and sand from the water so it would be more drinkable. So it was used as part of a water purification filtering system. And it was used, and still used, as smudging to fumigate the air because of its healing properties, just like juniper. Well, we have juniper here as well, so they can be used together here.
Aren't they great together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
And the salish from your neck of the woods, because they grow by you as well, which I'm sure you know.
I'll cover that part. You're horning in on my territory. Back off.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the Micmac.
Okay.
The Micmac, they warn to be careful of what you wish for. There's Glooskap. Glooskap is the god, right? That's who you go to when you want something. So a man went to the Glooskap and he asked to live forever. And Glooskap's answer to that was, well, nobody can live forever. I can't answer that question for you. Nobody can live forever. Everything must die, and then death will die too when everything is gone. And so then he changed his question and he said, I want to outlive any other man. So he turned him into a cedar tree.
That's different than my story, than our stories. That's interesting. Our stories are speak of, I'm sorry, I interrupted. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, the Potawatomi version of that is that they go to the sun to ask for help. Now, there's 4 guys that go. The first one asks to be immortal, to see the future. Then the next 2 ask to be immortal. And then the 4th guy, that's the 4th guy. There's actually 5 of them. The 4th guy asks about a blessing from the water. And then the 5th guy just came along to help the others, right? So the sun takes the guy who wanted to be not immortal, but wanted to see the future, and picked him up and put him in the west where the sun goes down. Because in order to see the future when the next day begins, turn around and face the east. And then the next fellow that wanted to be immortal was turned into a boulder. A stone lives, it's a living thing, but it just moves very slowly, right? Then the guy who asked for the blessing from the water was turned into half man and half fish. And then the other guy who had asked for immortality as well was turned into a cedar tree. And this is how we got the materials for the sweat lodge. We got the stones to heat outside the lodge and bring in. We got the water to pour on the stones to create steam. We got the cedar in order to burn the wood to heat the stones. And we got the west for the fire where the sun sets.
That might be a wonderful for a next show to talk about the sweat lodge. That might be good.
Oh, I like that.
That would be that's a subject all its own. Well, let me share a little bit about the Western red cedar. We use this for longhouses.
Oh, yes.
We use these for totem poles. We use these for canoes. We use these for fishing. The branches are used to catch herring. It's referred to as the tree of life and the connection to the cosmos. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to say this is a giant redwood cedar. And look how
Thank you for showing that picture. You hold that up while I continue to share.
Sure.
It's considered the tree of life. And it was once a generous and kind man. So when he passed and was put to earth, the first cedar tree grew there. This is our connection to the cosmos. The roots go deep, deep, deep into earth, the mother tree, and reach to sky, reach to heaven. life, death, and rebirth, and seed, and tree, and cone. We love cedar for its wisdom and knowledge, its stability and its resilience, its healing and grounding, its protection and purification, its wisdom. We make our canoes out of it. We use it for drying our fish. We use these branches to clean. I have done cleansing homes that I've been in with cedar branches for people who have been ill. If there's ill will in a home, in our home or another home, I have used cedar boughs that I've fallen and gathered off the ground and asked them for their blessings and bring them in. And it's not, not just at Christmas time, but anytime it is needed, and use these. These have actually been used. The old women would use these. They would swat people, sweep them, not hitting them to beat them, but just to cleanse them of their anger, of the meanness that was coming off of them, that it was time for them to let go of, and they would be tied between two trees and be swept and be swept and be swept. And it's very powerful. I mean, it's used, cedar's used in the longhouse for ceremony, for clothing, for baskets, for hats, for mats, for rope and twine and fishing line. And also used for teas, for colds and coughs and fevers. And the totem poles support the longhouse, and sometimes you'll see them on people's homes in the corners. There's mortuary poles and memorial poles, and they represent the spiritual relationship with spirit. The medicines of place. This is the totem poles, I'm sorry. These we have on my tribe and other tribes. When I went up to Alaska, I don't know that there was a name for the place I came upon, but there was the most totem poles I've ever seen in my whole life. There was like 60 of them, Diana. You would have loved it. And each of these totem poles tell a story. Each of them speak of the connection, the spiritual connection, the medicines of place, the people who live there. They honor the people and the elders and the medicines and the animals. And it's all about relationship and stability. And the ones at the bottom of the pole are actually the strongest ones. People kind of have that backwards when they talk about things they don't know. Phrases that they don't, like bottom of the totem pole does not mean weak or lower or
Not
less.
at all.
It means foundational. Yeah, it means ancestors. It's to honor ancestors and those strong connections with earth throughout generations. So it's really, really, cedar is beloved. And they are preferred by cedar waxwings and robins and cardinals. You'll see eagles and hawks sitting in them. There's for nesting and shelter, and their berries and cones. Wild turkeys, warblers, sparrows, and mourning doves love them, as well as deer, rabbits, porcupines. They browse off the foliage and bark. And various insects like the juniper hair-streaked butterfly. For them, cedar is a host plant. And moths. And I have a theory. I have a story that I wrote for my grandsons years ago that I really think I need to make this story again and make it into a little book. Because I have this picture in this little movie in my head that I think the moths are living pieces of bark. And I think they go out in the world and gathering stories and gathering stories. And they take the temperature of the world. And at night they all gather to the living bark of the tree and they sleep. And I think when the moon is full, they tell their stories. And they open their wings with their markings. And they may change when people aren't looking. That's what I think happens.
I love this story. Yes, please put it into a book.
Yes, I would love that. Maybe you can illustrate it.
Well,
that would be
sure, but what's wrong with your illustrations?
Well, we could do it together.
Let's put a new name to Mothman, right?
I never cared for that story, but various insects like butterfly and let's see, the juniper hair streak and moths. And in winter, cedar trees are shelter and protection for many mammals, including people and birds, because it rains all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And deer and raccoons and squirrels and hares. They're gathering places for people. And I feel safe when I'm in forest, when I'm around. I'm sure that you're the same way, sister. I feel safe. I feel much safer in a forest than I do in a big city.
Yeah.
I feel so much safer and connected and grounded and
Yeah.
at ease and at home with your, with ground and trees surrounding.
Even with the roots sticking up,
Mm-hmm.
they don't want me to fall.
Mm-hmm.
They stick up and trap my foot because I'm about to step in bear doo-doo or something, you know.
Well, I look
At
up to
least
the
in
trees
Virginia.
here and I talk to them because I think they watch our busy little lives and getting in cars and going here and there and coming back and digging holes and gardening and watering things and doing bird baths and feeding things, But when the wind blows hard here, because where our home is, it's about 3 miles to the waters,
Oh,
to the Puget Sound. And I always like to be. Apparently, I had that wonderful reading with Diane G. I recommend her highly. And
yes.
I have had walks, and
Me,
I'm always by a volcano. She's
me
like,
too.
and I said, I think it's because I like being near the kitchen, but of the world, of the earth. I think I just like being near the kitchen, where things are happening. But I think, what was I going to say? She had. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought there.
Well, that's all right. Let me interject a little
Okay,
bit here
please
about
do. Yeah.
the Judeo-Christian belief about the cedar tree. Because remember, the real cedar, the other cedar, what we call the true cedar, is in the Middle East. So it is related to Christ and to the same thing when it comes to strength and protection. But it is the wood that Solomon's temple was built out of. And it is said to be the wood that was used for the crucifix during the crucifixion of Yeshua. So, in that belief, it is bad luck to plant one on your own. But if you have a natural cedar growing on your property, it's extremely good luck for you. And to leave it, don't cut it down. And then, of course, the Irish use it for so many different things as well. So that is, again, strength and durability. And they are very strong. They grow so tall as they drop their bottom limbs. And there's nothing more. It is nature's orchestra when you're walking through the forest and there's strong wind. Because here and in Virginia, the cedars grow very tall and slender, always reaching for the sky above and growing congested to each other, finding strength in that. And when the wind starts blowing, they're creaking. And when the wind starts blowing, the white poplars start shaking their leaves. And the poplar leaf will stay on the tree like an oak tree till a new bud comes in. So those old leaves are there all through the winter. And as all of this music is going on between the cedars and the white poplars and the oak rustle as well, and the babbling brooks that you walk past, and you hear the sigh of a bird or a knock of a flicker or a knock of a woodpecker or the hoot of an owl or the keer of a hawk, and of course, ah, raven screaming at you as you walk through, right? So it just becomes such a musical time of it, and so encompassing and so absorbing and so opening to your spirit to unite with that and just become one with that.
That's very beautifully said. I like to share this I like to share this with people, and so I'm going to share it today because I think it's timely. When all the colors change, I read it. It is not my original idea. I read it in a book, and I can't remember where I read it. It was years and years and years ago, but I read that, like, two things. Well, one was about trees, and it was in the fall. It's the fall gala for trees, and they put on their finest dresses and their best colors, and it's a celebration of everything the year has held. So to greet them, like, oh, look at you, so beautiful. I love your dress. Oh, look at you, and really appreciate, because if you say these things out loud, the spirits of place hear you. And the spirits that live in the forest or the trees, every plant and every single blade of grass and plant and tree has their own spirits that take care of them. So they appreciate if you bring little pennies or little marbles or something that means something to you. And just a little gift. If it's a stone you got at the ocean, that stone's on a journey. Just, I'm not encouraging you to go, what's the word? Plunder things. But you can bring little gifts to, pick a tree you really like and bring little gifts to it, even if it's not your own tree, because they don't really belong to us anyway. But you can bring little gifts and remember to compliment them on how beautiful they look, because it's a big party as the fall comes on.
See that? Annie Bear, you're such a fascinating storyteller. Please write the book.
Thank you, Ralph. I do. I do want to write some books. I was telling my husband. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it, because I was telling my husband this last weekend. I said, I want to. Actually, I have in my cart a blanket with glow in the dark stars, and I said I want to build fires when it's not raining, and tell stories, and then make them into little books for like children.
Yeah.
And celebrate the beauty that is all around us and share that appreciation, because the things that we're seeing right now in the outside world, a lot of it's just distraction and baloney and BS. The things that are real are love all around you. We can see brightest white light on this side and dark on this side, and we can walk the middle path that has wisdom and balance and love and appreciation and relationship with the world around us, starting with magnificent trees.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
thank you so much for having me on to talk about this. This is awesome.
You're welcome. I'm glad you're here too.
This is great.
There are so many trees in the forest that we can't identify. And there's so many, like, just think of how many different kinds of oaks there are. Isn't it
they each have a story, though.
Right.
They each have a story.
Isn't it like 35 different types of oak? Just oak itself?
Well, I was thinking of a story that I was told by an elder, like, if you come across a tree that's been cut and a cedar tree that's been cut and a huckleberry is growing out of it, don't do anything to it, because that means a medicine man buried something in that tree, and that huckleberry coming out of it that's leave it alone. Mm-hmm. Leave it alone, because we don't say the words fairy, we just say spirit. There's little spirits there, and I don't worry about. I know other people do, and maybe I am naive and foolish, but I have not once have I went into the forest around trees and needed to be afraid of anything. I don't need to go in there and be afraid of anything. Mm-mm. The only thing scary on this planet is humans. If you show respect for the animals, because you're in their home, when you're walking around outside, you are in their home. Right. So if you are respectful, you'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. If you're respectful of who they are in their territories, you will be fine. So I just wanted to share that too. Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, we have black bears here, and I had black bears in Virginia, but they try not to come
encroach into
Yeah, they don't, people are scary. I was
Right.
up in Alaska and I drove the Alaska highway when it was dirt before it got paved. That makes me sound like Methuselah, but that's what happened. And I was driving and I had to go to the bathroom, right? So we stop and I go in these bushes and I realize I am in blueberries, wild blueberries in Alaska. And I look up and I'm not kidding you. There was a grizzly with two babies. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm going, I'm sorry. And I just backed away, pulled up and, got myself together and backed away. And I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. And she just looked at me and I felt this big.
Well, she probably knew what you were doing too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Of course she did. Of course she did.
They're canines. They have
Of
wonderful
course.
noses.
Well, that organ in the top, they can like go by a bush or we got to have a different show. Let's do a different show about that because that's so much. There's so much there. We have so much to talk about there.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do bears. We'll line it up. October would be a good month for that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because now we're getting into autumn and they're stirring around. They're packing themselves. When I lived in the Upper Peninsula, we would go over to the dump and watch the bears at night as they just feasted on everything in the dump, where everybody put their trash and their food, because you don't have garbage disposals up in the cabin,
Do you want to do cards?
Sure.
Okay.
What shall we do? Anybody have any questions?
I don't know. I can't see the chat.
Well, I haven't seen any questions because basically we haven't been doing that.
Everybody's so sweet. They're just listening.
Conversation show. So,
well, let me share this card.
Okay.
This is really appropriate for right now. The deck that I made, the paintings I did, this deck is dedicated to my mother-in-law, Carol Gracia. She has walked on. She had a good, long, beautiful life. And we miss her. But we keep her memory alive and we talk about her. And that's why this deck with the tree here is dedicated to Carol Gracia. Because she was so open for a woman of her generation. She was so open-minded and she welcomed the changes that she saw. She was so unique in that regard. And she absolutely adored giraffes. So I was hoping that when she passed that was who greeted her. Clarence!
I know.
See Clarence forever.
It's been a while. Thank you. Right? It's good to see you, buddy.
Oh, thank you, Clarence. I'm happy to see you. Let me get you a card. Or do you have one? Because I can wait. I'm not in a hurry.
Well, I haven't shuffled yet, and who knows what energy has been soaked up before. So
okay,
let me get out and start over.
Wow, I haven't seen Clarence forever. I used to see you, Clarence, a lot at Lisa's, but I think it was November. I just had to back away from the political stuff. I watch Libby almost every day. And I just had to my attention went elsewhere. And one of the things I did was I painted a bunch of cards. I made a bunch of little paintings that turned into cards.
Right. So, Claire, this card I just pulled for you is, and this is appropriate, but I know you are a wonderful caregiver for your mother, but I think you need to realize that you are wanted. Not just by her, but there is a home for you. It's just waiting. It is your home within. And you should be,
beautiful.
Need to understand the sacredness within your own sanctuary, within your own ability to feel the blessings that you are passing on to your mom, because they come through you as well as from you. What'd you get?
I got higher self connection.
Ooh.
Connection to your higher self, Clarence.
Lovely.
Yeah. I think of higher self-awareness as an awareness. It's always with you. It's not something you have to seek and stretch and difficult to get to get in contact with. Just relax.
Okay.
Just being in nature and there you are.
Yeah. Let's see. Why am I dizzy, nauseous? Well, I know that we are in a -3 geomagnetic storm right now, a flare. The winds kicked up last night and started and sent it right to us. And speaking of moths, the big hole in the sun right now to me looks like an evening moth. Butterflies, when they're at rest, fold their wings up. Of course, you can see them with their wings open, but moths, when they're at rest, have their wings open. And when I saw that thing this morning on Stefan Burns, like, oh my God, that's a moth. And just shooting the stuff our way. And so let's see. That is a part of it, but let's see what we can find on the inside.
I found this card for you, hon.
Oh.
Equilibrium. Equilibrium. Being the self that you see in the mirror, that inner self. Letting her come out, because right now we're in between two. Why do I keep dropping that card? We're in between two eclipses. Yep. So in between these, no, I'm not an astrologer and don't claim to be, and that's not my thing. But we're in between two eclipses. So it's like we're getting shook up. It's like we're getting shook up. And I used to tell, when I first met my husband, I told him, I said, one of the things I do is about every 6 months, I go through my belongings and my clothing and things that I'm not using, I do give away.
Right.
And I think as I've gotten older, it took me quite a while to get here, but I've also done that with my thinking. Thoughts that don't no longer serve, attitudes that no longer serve. There was someone, this is so mind-blowing to me anyway. So Pamela, maybe, I bet you can relate to, you're a wise woman. But I thought I didn't like somebody in our family that I'm related to. I thought I didn't like them. And what I realized yesterday was I actually love them very, very much. We just have different personalities. I'm an introvert. They're an extrovert. I'm quiet. They're loud. But I love them dearly. With all my heart, I love them dearly. So for me, that was the thing that got shook out. Now, I don't know if this is happening to you, but I'm not sleeping really well. I've been awake today since 1:47. And I'm not a good napper. Once I'm up, I'm up. But I think you might be having this because you're finding your equilibrium. The things that need to be released are coming up for you. Now, of course, I'm going to tell you to stay hydrated. Maybe add a little lemon to your water to help neutralize the energies as they move through. To be gentle and kind with yourself and others, and patient with yourself and others. Because once we start waking up, we think, okay, I'm going to get it done by 4 o'clock. And that's really not how it works. I hope that's helpful, sweetheart.
So I've got pull yourself close, which goes right along with what Annie's been saying here. Every part of your being is deserving of love. Don't forget that about yourself. So it's time, when you feel like this, it's time to unplug and just deal and bless Pamela. Pamela needs her space.
That's beautiful.
All right. Yeah, this is the inner child oracle deck. Obviously not the bunny deck. The bunny love is another deck. These are two different authors.
Right.
But they're both inner child.
That's fantastic.
Is there anybody else? Kelly Bach, did I say hello to you? If not, hello.
Hi, Kelly.
I don't see another question. So why don't we pull a couple of cards for the energy? Why don't you pull 3 cards?
Okay.
Talk about the energy from now till the end of the week. Oh, wait, it's Monday. Yeah, Monday through Friday. couple, 3 cards, whatever you're comfortable with.
Oh, 2 of them are trees.
It's the time.
Yeah.
It's fall here. There's no doubt about it. My favorite maple tree at the opening going into the park I go to is blazing.
Oh,
I'm trying
that's
to get a picture of it, but I was too today. I have to go like at this time when the sun is really lighting it up.
Yeah. Now here it's cooling off, which is really nice. I enjoy walking when it's a little bit cooler. I don't enjoy melting. You know, I don't. Well, the first card that I got was Claim Your Territory.
Oh.
This is a painting of a pileated woodpecker. Claim your territory. And for me, to me, that's meaning claim all of who you are. No shame in this game. And if you see things in yourself that you don't like, say, well, maybe I don't need to carry that forward. Maybe that's something that I can let go of. And I have a little asparagus pot. And so one of the things that you can do is like, I'm not going to compare myself to others. I'm done with that. And put it in that pot and then safely burn it. And that's a way of claiming your territory. And the second card I got was Transmutation.
I love that.
So when we do that, when we let go of things, we're claiming all of who we are, and things naturally transmute. When we stop fighting things go naturally. They naturally transmute. It's not a bunch of work. It just happens. And the third card I got was Ask Pan. Pan of the wood. There are many ways to find Creator. There are many ways to be one with Spirit. Now, I am most comfortable when I'm in nature. I'm most comfortable. I feel safe there. I feel connected there. I'm not afraid there. So that's what this is encouraging you to do in a way that's comfortable for you. And it could be ocean. It could have nothing to do with trees. It could be going to Arboretum. But find that way and follow it and do that. And that little soft voice that you hear that says, I wish we could go to the Arboretum. Listen to it. Every time you do, you build that bridge to hear it more often. So I hope that's helpful for everybody. What'd you get?
I got Find Your Haven. There's a place of wonder waiting just for you.
Oh, wow.
And like Annie, I love it in the forest.
Yeah.
And I have a tree that grows in one of the ancient cemeteries, but this is not, I can't remember what they're calling it, but it's a cemetery, right? There's a lot of soldiers in there, Civil War and before Civil War. There's one soldier in there that is from the Revolutionary War as well. And there is a tree in there that is unbelievable how that it is still growing. And that tree, you can walk through it like that.
Holy cow.
Holy cow is right. It's at the bottom of the hill inside this, and it's in the middle of the city. It's in the middle of Fenton, a small town. So anyways, there you go. Find your haven.
Beautiful.
Right? Do what you need to do. It may be difficult, but now is the time. And you have your guides and angels all around you to help you with this.
That's beautiful.
Because, and don't anyone forget this, you deserve to be seen. Let yourself be known. Whether it's by one person or a group of people, you have a voice. Don't keep it from being heard. Don't keep your smile from being seen. Please.
It's like we're big energetic safecrackers and we need everybody's voice in order to crack this safe, in order for us to, well, not really crack the safe, but in order to move through time like we are.
Yeah.
We need everybody's voice.
Yeah. Down in Virginia, the place where I walked there all the time is a pseudo preserve, right? There's a old house that was affiliated with the plantation that no longer exists, right? And then in there, there's these pileated woodpeckers.
Oh, cool.
One mated pair would follow me around when I would, because I would sing, and I would sing my favorite Native American songs, which you've heard, and walk through there, and the deer would come to me, and the bucks would come up close to me, and the birds would follow me. Well, I'd gone there early one morning, and the pileateds were all over the place, and I didn't walk the whole park, but they happened to be right where I was. And I had to go to school. So I went to school. It's near the end of the school year. And I'll be darned if the male didn't follow me to school. Now, I had to drive my car 2 more miles to get to the school, but I turned and there he was. And I still have the videos of him being there. He's at there's a broken down tree, right? It just broke in half, but the root is still there. The stump is still there, and the stump is pretty tall. And there he is eating all the bugs that are at the bottom of it, thrips and whatever else was there. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I'll have to look that up. I think it was 2018.
I hope you find that.
2017. Yeah, it's in the cloud somewhere, but it's.
I hope you find that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, that brings us to an hour. All right. We've done it. We did our first.
Wow. That flew by.
Well, this is our second show, but we did do the first not 9 candle show.
That's right. That's right.
So I would love to say thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad we had this
time together.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Love you. Bye.